I just wonder if you will need to reconsider your vaccine acquisition strategy, given that we now know that some vaccines like the Pfizer or Moderna are more effective in tackling variants.
Well, I will tell you, good morning, Shery, that out of real life data, the vaccines that we are using, Sinovac and Pfizer, have been extremely efficacious. We saw 90% drop in ICU admission out of Sinovac and 95% out of Pfizer. So I think we have used a good mix. But now as we face this discussion of the booster or the third dose, certainly the options are open, and we expect to adopt an heterologous booster strategy to keep tackling with the pandemic and these new variants.
So who are you negotiating with right now, and could you consider some local production as well?
Well, with Sinovac, as you well know, China's Sinovac today accounts for nearly 70% of the total doses that we have acquired. The country already has supplied 24 million doses to date, and that means that 85% of our target population has either has one or a single shot, and 75% of our population has a full treatment, the target population. So when thinking forward, we are talking with Sinovac. In fact, it's a team of Sinovac is currently in Santiago, visiting different locations as an option to establish a plant in Chile that could serve the region. But also we are very interested in RNA technology plants, and the Ministry of Science is also leading that conversation with potential interested pharmaceuticals. So we are talking with Pfizer, expanding the existing contract, Moderna and Sinovac, along with AstraZeneca and CanSino. And today also Sputnik 5 got the emergency approval in Chile as well.
Does that mean you could eventually use a mix and match when it comes to future boosters? Because we've seen that in Thailand, for example, they've added a booster of AstraZeneca after using the Sinovac one. In Malaysia, they're changing from Sinovac to Pfizer. A supply comes in. Is that the kind of shift that could take place for Chile as well?
Right now, that's exactly what the Ministry of Health is assessing following these cases that you mentioned. Also, the United Arab Emirates or Bahrain are doing something similar. And what we have seen is that mixing and matching vaccines from different technologies even improve the immunologic response. So that's definitely an option that we are considering.
Does the procurement plans include a plan to vaccinate all children under the age of 12?
Yes, we are considering that, following the vaccines that are available and approved for that. Sinovac is one of the candidates for that, as they have shown and very good results in that age. The safety profile also, it's extremely good. And we expect to start vaccinating that population probably around August or September. Now we are vaccinating teenagers, 14 years old teenagers and up, and we expect to get the coverage as broad as we can throughout the remainder of the year.
Minister, let's veer to trade, and I'll ask you to put on your Minister of International Economic Relations hat right now, because we have heard from the Biden administration that we could potentially see a digital trade agreement covering the Indo-Pacific. Would Chile be a part of it?
Well, we've been at the very forefront of this discussion with the Digital Economy Partnership Agreement, the DIPA, that we launched with Singapore and New Zealand. Canada has announced its interest to join officially. And here, actually, in Seoul, in Korea, we had conversations with the Ministry of Trade, because Korea is to take also a decision very soon on joining the DIPA. So this is a first of its kind agreement, and certainly we will expect to participate in all plurilateral digital economy or digital trade agreements. And we have discussed this with the US as well. Our Ministry of Foreign Affairs met with Secretary Blinken last week, and we have very close contact with all of our trading partners on digital economy, as we believe it will boost our diversification strategy.
The understanding right now is that if you do have this other digital trade pact, it would be sort of in a way to keep China in check. But of course, China is your major trade partner. How do you balance the two?
Well, we don't believe in excluding from trade anyone. And that's a conversation that we have with all of our trading partners, provided that we have the same principles in terms of the architecture of the internet, in terms of free data, flow of data, and several core principles that agreements like DIPA has. So as long as that exists and that is shared, we believe that should be no exclusion. And also the discussion on e-commerce at the WTO should be central. And we're also pushing very hard. And we're meeting actually today with the Ottawa group in preparation for the next ministerial, where we hope that there is an important deliverable from the WTO on e-commerce negotiations as well.